I love how the sister breaks it down because a lot of people need this primer. They need to understand the delineation movement is nothing more than an awakening of Black Americans who realize we tired of getting screwed over and getting lied to. That's it. It's not a psyop. It's not a maneuver of the U.S. government to try to make us not stick together. It's Black Americans realizing ain't nobody sticking with us.
Let's do a little history walk, shall we? So first, when Barack Obama got elected in 2008, we thought a Black man was going into the office and he was going to make sure that Black people were taken care of. And in his first term, he was not able to do that. We understand. Of course, the second term, like Trump, you have no balls to the walls, right? You don't have to worry about re-election. You can do whatever you want. And he still chose not to do anything for us. And so at that point, we're like, we need to question this overall Black alliance. It might not be as aligned as we think it should be. So now that we've started to see that not all skin folk are kinfolk, and that some people really have their own agenda, right? And their agenda doesn't include helping foundational Black Americans. And we have to respect that because they've been telling us for a long time they're not Black. They've been telling us for a long time we are not the same. They've been telling us and telling us and telling us. And now we're finally hearing it because we saw what that looks like. We saw that they can be in the highest position of power and do absolutely nothing for foundational Black Americans. So we said, you know what? Pulling support. We're done with that. We're not going to keep trying to push that narrative. They don't want it, so we're not going to push it anymore. We're just going to take care of ourselves. We're going to mind our own business. We're going to take care of our communities. We're going to get our families back intact. You guys keep saying that we have such a terrible culture, then we're going to go ahead and fix that. So we don't have time. We don't have energy to focus on anybody else. We're only going to focus on us. And all of a sudden, they started realizing, oh, I live in America, and the things that the foundational Black Americans were telling me would actually be helpful in this time when there is a Republican in office and they don't really care about you. You need somebody to advocate for you. So now that we've sat down and said we're not advocating for you anymore, the fear is starting to come. You take the whole situation where they're removing statuses. Normally we would say, oh, you can't do that to people. You need to do this. You need to do that. We would stand up. We would fight. Now we're like, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And you can feel that. They can feel that. They really can feel that. Then we just sat down and said, yeah, that's unfortunate. I guess you should have got your paperwork together, right? Yeah, I guess so. And I think that's where the fear is coming from. What happens if there's a sustained perspective that we should only focus on ourselves? What happens to everybody else when we do that? Now, we know that we'll fix our communities and we'll go back to helping the world, but everybody else sees, like right now, whoa, what's happening? What are they doing? And that's causing a lot of fear. And so people that you're used to just talking crazy to and they never say anything back, now we're saying something back. And yeah, I get it because foundational Black Americans, we're spicy. We're very spicy on the comebacks. There's literally no chill. There's absolutely no chill. Yeah, scorched earth a little bit on some people's channels, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, you're getting a whole wide variety of responses to the disrespect and for the drawing of the boundaries and saying we're not gonna do that anymore. And the more people push and the more people are like, no, you need to, just the more dug in, we're like, oh yeah, this is absolutely right. So I think that's where the fear is coming from, but maybe, I'm not right. I'm not always right. I think I'm always right, but I'm not always right. So I'd love to hear your comments. What do you guys think? Is it fear? I don't think it's jealousy because they cosplay us anyway, but what do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. Be nice. Y'all, seriously, y'all are I love us though. I'm not gonna lie, I love us. But we do too much. Kind of like that guy at the brawl when he hit that lady with the chair and we're like, you're going to jail. We're gonna bail you out, but you're definitely going to jail. Yeah, chill in the comments. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
In my next clip, brother here, he articulates exactly the essence of how Black Americans or foundational Black Americans see themselves and what that means. It reminds me of an Eminem song. Nothing comes out when they move their lips, just a bunch of gibberish, and Democrats act like they forgot about Obama. Obama created this. A lot of this goes back to Obama. And people like to say, oh, blacklash. White America's mad because, we elected a Black president. Well, first of all, he's the first biracial president. And second of all, you got a point. And I also have a point that Black Americans also mad they were elected a biracial president who got in office and didn't do anything specifically for Black Americans. And can you imagine The hope of Black Americans for so many years has been to see somebody get into that office and make some changes that stick for Black Americans after as much shit as we've been through in this country. And we finally get that opportunity. And what happens? We got a bunch of respectability Negroes telling us that we should not ask for anything. And then when the second term comes and he's on his way out the door, no matter what he does, he's on his way out the door. He cannot be reelected. And what does he do? Nothing. Nothing specifically for the people that have been waiting for this for 300 years. We did not forget about it. We did not forget about his African dad. We did not forget about his white mama. We did not forget about his white parents who raised him, his grandparents. We did not forget about the elitism. We did not forget about him calling us Pookie and telling us to pull our pants up and put on soft shoes in to get to work. We did not forget about any of it. We did not forget about the Do Nothing Congressional Black Caucus, who put up a fight for about 2 seconds and then they decided they wanted access more than they wanted results. Nothing comes out when you move your lips, just a bunch of gibberish, and Democrats act like they forgot about Obama. Yeah. But people like Joy Reid blaming and saying it's the bots and it's the Russians. Nah, that's niggas with memories. That's all that is. We remember. Do you remember? It's Black America remembers all too well what happened, fam. We got the sham. So that's part of what happened with the delineation. That's why this is a delineation movement. It's not xenophobia, at least not for me. I can't speak for everybody. Yeah, it's going to get toasty and roasty in those comment sections, as my sister pointed out. But that's not what caused it. What caused it was benign neglect. Dr. Clyde Anderson put it out there. In my next clip, to close it out, I got this brother here. He articulates exactly the essence of how Black Americans or foundational Black Americans see themselves and what that means.
I definitely don't consider myself African American. I would just consider myself American. I haven't personally been to Africa, but my little brother has been to Africa, my mom's been to Africa, and they don't consider us African either.
Like a foundational Black American?
Yeah, I would say so.
Where do foundational Black Americans trace their roots from?
We don't trace our roots. For us, we look at ourselves as a new established thing, so it's the original almost. This is the beginning of a new thing.
We don't civilization.
Yes, a new culture, a new type of people. There's nothing to trace it back to because it's new.
Okay, guys, let me know in the chat. Are foundational Black Americans the beginning of a new civilization? I've been having a lot of interaction with Black Americans, and sometimes we have some, conversations about Black Americans and foundational Black Americans.
Yeah.
Tracing their roots from Africa. Some consider themselves as African Americans. Others don't also consider themselves as African Americans. What is your take on that?
I definitely don't consider myself African American. I would just consider myself American.
Okay.
And I haven't personally been to Africa, but my little brother has been to Africa, my mom's been to Africa, and they don't consider us African either. So there's obviously a divide.
Okay.
So we're obviously not the same in some way or shape or form. So we don't even consider ourselves anything other than American.
Black American fam. So foundational Black Americans, I just love the way you put that there because it pretty much expresses for me how I feel. Some of us were already in this country when the colonizers came to this country. We were indigenous to this land. Others that came here that were brought to this country, that started a new clock, so to speak. That became a new people we became Black Americans. Once we got our freedom, we became Black Americans. We were freedmen, and then we became Black Americans. And now we're adding foundational only because we are the foundation of America. And we are the foundation. And so it's not a rejection of anything else. It's just that we have been here this long. This is the country that we claim. And we were here, some of us were here before the country was a country. So there you have it. We built this, no one can question if we built this country. We aided in building this country. Most of us without getting compensated and against our will. And now you don't want us to have any ownership of it. You don't want us to have any. I don't get why you would want that to happen. I don't know. Other than maybe you find some agency within us being connected to you. But there is no agency. We benefit not by being connected to you. We're connected to ourselves. And when you consider particularly that Black Americans have been in this country or have been a part of America pre-Ghana, pre-Nigeria, I mean, those countries weren't even defined until the 60s and the 70s. And you get to ask us, you get to question us about why we consider ourselves to be Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. Man, get out of here, man. I mean, we talking about the 1619 Project. You know what I'm saying? Really, Johnson? 1619 Project, and we got people that are from a country that wasn't a country until 1967 or whatever, or 76, whatever it was for Nigerians, and you question us about what our thought process is? I mean, come on, man. What in a pan-African nonsense? What is this? So, it's not about hating anybody. It's just that, respect, we live in a world where people can identify however they want to identify. I'd like to know why it's so important to you that you control or have a say in how we identify ourselves. We got people that are born with a certain anatomy, now telling you that they're a different anatomy. And we got people that want to fight to have them to be able to say that right. And all I'm saying is, okay, fine, have at it, be yourself, do what you want to do. Why do we have so many melanated people from around the globe so concerned with how we see ourselves? And those same people will quickly tell us we ain't African. I don't get it. It's like they want us to be tethered to them. And since we refuse that, they mad. Well, stay mad. Stay mad, Johnson. Stay mad. Yeah, stay mad. My father's from D.C., my mom's from New York. And that's what it is. All right, people, thank you for being here tonight. My name is Tim Black. We do a live stream here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Tonight's show is brought to you by Beyond the Talking Points. That's my show. I co-host with my good friend, Dr. Musa Abdullah. We do that every second Thursday of every month, and we get it in. Find out more about us and follow him at All Things Education Official on YouTube and the FBA Educator on TikTok.
Next up with Tim Black.